The Stoned Roadie Show, number 25. Take one, roll one, and burn one down.
Welcome
Why
to
do
the
I
Stoned
feel that
Roadie Show. We're another version of the Stoned Roadie Show with Craig Reed. Of course, Craig Reed, as we all know, is the most famous roadie in rock and roll history. And if anybody wants to dispute that, they can come on here anytime. Also, we know that Craig is the most stoned roadie in rock and roll history. And I don't think anybody's going to dispute that one. We have some really good guests. The return of Mike Estes today. And
sound like a horror movie.
We're watching last week, we had Mike on, and then Paul Abraham saw it and got a real big kick out of it. And I said, well, hey, Paul, come on here. And he said, well, yeah, that sounds like fun. So now we have Paul Abraham. And if you think about it, we have the band manager, we have a guitarist from Skynyrd, and the roadie, and now I'm the fan. So we got a good group here. So what do you got to say, Craig? What do you think about this?
Yeah, this is pretty funny. I've known Paul now for been 48 years. I think it was like March or something of 1974. I met Paul down there in Cleveland, Mississippi. Him and his brother booked the band before they got popular, you know, and then we rolled in there into Cleveland, Mississippi and did a show, and Carl come out, his brother come out and helped us unload the luggage into the Holiday Inn, and then he had some homegrown, so me and him become good friends real quick, you know. And then when we would show up at the shows after that, Carl would always come by. Paul was away, and Carl would come by, and for a couple, 2-3 years, Carl would come by, and then Paul come back into the picture, and then he started coming to the shows, and I'm kind of the one that kept them in the loop into the rock scene, you know, and then Paul and Billy became good friends, and then Paul and Gary became good friends, and Paul actually helped Gary drove his truck that he bought out to Jackson, Wyoming for him, and they became friends. And yeah, Paul got a book, the Gospel by Paul Abraham, yeah, and he explains about all that, you know. And yeah, last week I talked about how me and Mike got together in this whole picture, you know, and then I just kind of told you a little bit about how me and Paul became friends almost 50 years ago, you know, and now we're gonna have Paul and Mike work together on the beginning of some of the Torture Tour. We was just talking about some of the stories. I think Paul has a couple about you all want to know about when Leon got his throat cut. Well, we were cut. Well, it wasn't really a cut. That's kind of kind of an exaggerated story. Paul just said it was kind of just like an abrasion, really, you know, or something. I don't know what you would call it, but we'll get into that. But anyways, yeah, I'll stop my jibber jabber and I'll let Paul and Mike get in there and converse a little bit. And then we'll get in there and just kind of have a quandrum or whatever you want to call it. But this will probably end up to be probably the longest one we did. I think last week was like 50 minutes, and Mike said, God, it went so quick, and it really does. So I'm gonna stop jibber jabber, and I'm gonna let somebody else do a little jibber jabber.
Hey Paul, when's the last
I think Paul wants to do a little jibber jabber.
When's the last time you and Mike talked?
Oh my God,
it's been a long time.
I tell you what, I was a buddy of mine that worked for Charlie, lived up there in Pegram, and him and his wife would go on vacation, and I would come up there and stay at their house, taking care of their dogs for them while they were gone. And I went out I said out of the blue one day, I said, I'd never catch him here. So I said, to hell with it. I'm going to drive out and see if I can catch Mikey. And sure enough, he was at the house, and hell, that was a long time ago.
That was 4 or 5.
At least that. At least 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was 5
It's
years
been a
ago,
while.
actually. Yeah,
It's
because
been a while.
I think Crystal had just moved in, and I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we were married yet, so that was at least 5 years.
You showed me the car that George gave you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Man, and the thing is, I never have time to drive it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a good one though. But it's
Oh, yeah.
I've had to build a shop out there since. But me and Paulie met on the tribute tour when he was working for Skynyrd at the time. He recruited me to lift some heavier objects because I had some I had some pretty yeah, I'd have a guy or two come with me, and we was all, in our 20s, so we should have had to move gear, and I remember the first thing I ever did on the tribute tour was help put Billy's piano on the tribute tour, the heavy one, in the case, and they had it done pretty slick, but man, that was a big case.
Oh yeah,
it was like a billboard,
Yeah.
and so, but they had these knockout legs. You knock out the legs with a rubber hammer and flip it on its edge, and it would go in the case, and they put that lid on her. And man, it was fascinating to me. And that's when Paul and I started hanging out, and this time he needed a ride. He was hungry, and there wasn't no food at the hotel, and I just happened to be around. I carried him over there, and he got me a good pass for carrying him to the restaurant, and so my pass didn't say working on it anymore.
Yeah, really, no need in having anybody stop you at the door, man.
Yeah,
you were needed. I guarantee you. Come later on, you were needed too, man. No.
But me and Paulie done all kinds of stuff together, man. We sat in the back lounges on the bus and played songs, played John Prine and Merle Haggard songs, and just I always had a great time with Paulie wherever we were. And we've done tons of gigs together outside of Skynyrd.
Yeah. And
all kinds of cool stuff.
And we were neighbors.
Yeah, that was the best thing.
Yeah.
And man, I sure do miss you being out here, Paulie. I have since the day you left.
I miss it too, man. I miss the way it used to be, Mike. I really do.
Man, it was good. Yeah, it was good. It really was.
Paul, last week when we were talking about being over in Japan, and you were getting a big kick out of that, and you thought that was pretty funny. So were you there for that whole event?
Yeah, I was there for the bulk of it. And then Craig, you passed out. We were all up in the suite, weren't we? Weren't we in like Gary's suite?
I was drunk, and Zach
and
Wild
we were laying in the chair.
Yeah, we're together, and I went in there and I passed out drunk.
Yeah,
and they painted me up with red lipstick.
Yeah,
and then Paul called me up in the room, and he was dealing with Leon. I mean, he was dealing with a circus. Life on the road is a 3-ring circus, and it's hard to do it when you're by yourself. And I was supposed to be helping Paul a little bit, was part of my job specification, and you know me, I was doing as little of that as I could. So I was drunk like a rock star with Gary and Zach, and they painted me up, and Paul needed me to go down and see about Billy down in the lobby, who I guess he had his health locked out of his room and didn't know where he was. So I went down there to get Billy. I was all painted up with lipstick, and Billy looked at me and just laughed, and I looked in the mirror and saw myself. And I was so drunk I didn't care. I told that story last week, but that's my version of it. Paul's got another version.
Mine's pretty much the same. I remember all that, but somehow I remember ending up in that room either after that fact or actually it was probably after that fact, because for some reason I remember Zach Wild getting painted up too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we paint a target on him or something? I mean, really, Mike, I'm serious, man. It was like I had a dream or something.
I remember he showed up at the gig, and he was still hammered. Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
Because he had managed to announce us somehow that he'd bring us on stage. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
And he yelled out, "Motherfucker!"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh God!" And he still had some kind of makeup stuff on him from the night before. That's what I remember about that.
Yeah. Well, I remember some things. I don't know. A lot of it's probably just stuff that I dreamed up. I don't know. It seemed like a lot of that stuff was a dream out there, or a nightmare at times.
Yeah, nightmare.
Yeah, he had that bullseye guitar, which is what I think started the whole thing about him getting painted a bullseye on him. Because remember, he had that bullseye of Les Paul.
Yeah.
And then so somebody got the idea to paint a target on him.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, but
no, I didn't either because from what I recall, it was on his rear end.
Yeah. Craig.
I talked to Zach up at Blossom one time, and I was telling him about me going to rehab. Because they tried to put me in rehab too, but I escaped.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, there's another. I don't know. Do you remember going to Koblenz, Germany?
I don't. I didn't go to Europe.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No,
Okay.
I've been there, but not with Skynyrd. I wasn't. Yeah.
Okay. But I know you've been there. You leaving again soon, right?
Yeah.
God dang. How long y'all gonna be over there?
6 weeks.
Wow.
That's too long, really. But
I know it.
but
I always should. We were there 2 or 3 weeks at a time, and I
remember when y'all went, and it was like a couple weeks, and that was plenty long enough.
Well, we were in Koblenz, Germany. It's right on the Rhine River. It's where two rivers come together, actually. So I went out for a walk, and I came back to the hotel, and I see Billy there covered in blood at the front desk. Covered in blood. His head. I mean, it looked like he was bleeding from his head. And I go running up there, and the hotel manager said, "Is this one of yours?" And I said, "Yeah." "What happened to him? Somebody attack him?" He said, "No, he was down in the parking garage downstairs and couldn't find his way out, so he broke the fire alarm thing, and it cut his hand." And he had blood all over him, man, literally.
I remember you telling me.
They had to send the fire chief down there to get him out of the damn parking structure. But that was one time. But it seemed like him and Gary or anybody else would always wait till we got out of the country to really, really, really mess up. And it happened a few times.
Paul, didn't you say that you had Billy for a roommate for a while too?
Well, Mike and I were neighbors.
Real close. I mean, neighbors. Close.
Neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, 3 houses on this one road, and it's actually where Mike lives now.
Yeah.
But down at the end of that road was my house, and then his log house was the one you could see from my house. But it was maybe 100 yards away.
Yeah, about a football field. Yeah.
But I had to go, and I hate. I mean, God love him. Billy's gone, and I hate to talk about him, but he had a real bad drinking problem, and he got up into this hotel room in Jacksonville, and he wouldn't come out. So I hear about this, and I think Joe Boyland or Charlie or somebody called and asked me if I could go get Billy. And I'm like, and I'm in Tennessee and he's in Jacksonville. So we get in touch with Brian Evers. And Brian meets me at the airport with Billy. So me and Billy get on a plane and fly back to Nashville. And then the next thing you know, we're at my house. First thing Billy does is takes my damn remote control from my television. So my house was no longer my house. And then you and I had started already doing the driving sideways thing, I believe.
Yeah. We had Billy played in Sideways on a few gigs.
Yeah, he played that
Atlanta.
He did, yes, exactly. But he also did the demo of The Intimidator.
Yes, he
Put the
did.
solo on that.
Yeah.
Just on the demo though.
Yeah.
Regrettably.
Yeah. Regrettably, yeah.
But he lived at my house for a little while, and then he found out that Mike had a really nice couch down there.
That one behind me.
In his basement. And that's where Billy ended up. But it was another thing. Now, Billy never had a driver's license. Never had a driver's license.
Never had one.
And he, this other friend of ours, I'm going to still call him a friend. I hadn't really talked to him in a long time, but Billy was dried up. I mean, he wasn't
dried
drinking.
out, but hey, I got to interject something right there. And when he came to my house, I don't know if you and Debbie had made some kind of deal that I didn't know about, but she told me, if you take him down there to that store and get him beer, then you're going to have to leave.
Yeah.
And she, she was nothing like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went, hang on a second. Oh, I almost went and did it just because it pissed me off.
but you didn't have to.
Yeah,
you didn't have to, because James showed up with Valium and Budweiser, two of Billy's favorite things at the time. And he was in a damn rental car. And I came home from town. I'd gone down to Music Row or somewhere to do something. I can't remember what. And I see this damn rental car out there cutting donuts out there in that big old field out there, just on the other side of your house.
Yeah.
And man, Billy was driving and cutting donuts on high as hell on Valium and Budweiser. And I said, well, Billy, I think that's about it for me, buddy. So I think within a few days after that, he was back with Ellen, and thankfully, she took care of it. God bless her. God bless her, boy.
Oh God, I hated it when they would. I always wanted them to be okay, man. He needed her bad, It was like,
yeah, no kidding.
But man, I had so much fun with him. I mean, there was not a time I'd be with him when I wasn't crying, laughing.
Yeah. I know it. He was hilarious.
God, he was
hilarious.
So
riding on that bus with him and Leon and Randall and good Lord Almighty. It was so funny. Some of the things we did and said.
And Mike was talking about the time Billy forgot the intro to was it Freebird?
That's the only time I ever seen him mess up. Yeah, it was one time on stage in Japan.
And that was in Japan. So that makes sense.
When he didn't remember being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me, well, I said something about we had done some recording while we were there for Sony, some kind of acoustic set, and then we did some other stuff. And I was talking to Billy about it. I said, do you want to hear the tape from Sony that we did while we was in Japan? And he goes, we weren't in Japan. I was like, yeah, it was just like not a few months ago. He goes, how long were we there? And I said, I don't know, about almost 2 weeks, not quite. And he said, shit, I don't remember a minute of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. That is true story.
But yeah, it was killing me when we all found out he had gotten the wrong room, and after thought his luggage had been stolen.
Oh yeah. Oh man, what a rigmarole that was. The damn hotel manager. They were
everybody. Yeah, this was like an international incident, man.
Yeah. That's funny.
It was.
You guys, Craig had mentioned about the Leon Wilkerson throat cut thing. You guys want to go ahead and talk about Paul? I think you can start that off. Because you were right there.
Well, that was when Rhonda, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll
his ex.
she was there, and she had Leon up in the room with a gun. She was holding him hostage, and I what's going on? And they told me, I go, you got to be kidding me. And everybody didn't want to go up there, you know, because they didn't really knew her, and I was pretty good friends with her. So I said, I'll go up there. So I went up there, and she goes, what do you want? And I said, I come up to get Leon. Everybody, they're afraid they're afraid you'll shoot them. I said, she won't shoot me. You won't shoot me, will you? And she goes, I might. And I was, I was high, so I wasn't afraid, but after I thought about it, I kind of went, wow, that bitch would have shot me. She was nuts, yeah.
Or worse. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
No, I ain't gonna say it. Never mind.
But that happened in, as well as I can recall. I'm gonna say it happened in St. Louis. Mike thought it might be on the bus. I thought we were in the parking lot somewhere, but I mean, I know it was in St. Louis though. I know we were at the damn Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah, that was a nice hotel. I remember that.
Very nice.
Yeah, and Ed had that room, the bathroom. He'd always get the same room at that hotel because it had that tile bathroom in it, the big one.
Yeah.
And man, we'd go in there and turn the lights off. It sounds crazy, but we'd turn lights off and he'd just play Mandolin Man in that room. And God, did it sound good, man.
There was another funny story. Another funny story happened in St. Louis. We were there's a airport out right across the street from this hotel we were in. There's a Hilton or something there. And we got there early in the morning and hardly any of the rooms were ready. So Ed was antsy. He wanted to get into his room and I kept telling him, and we had the accountant checking us in and all that stuff. And I said, Ed, just hang on the bus, and soon as they're ready, I'll come get you. Next thing I know, I turn around and look, and here comes Ed through the front door in his bathrobe. He sat his ass down right there in that lobby, right in front of the desk, and I mean, they got him a room quick.
Man, I'm telling you, that was and that lesson did not go unlearned by me. Since then, I have put the entire band in the lobby of a hotel in Europe after, being out, everybody stinks like cigarettes and beer, whatever, looks like complete hell. And we plant right in the lobby.
Oh, yeah.
Believe how quick they get the rooms.
They really do, buddy. They really do that. They're hustling up.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That was a great road lesson. I said, I'm going to remember that one.
Yeah. So to follow up on that Leon story, it wasn't much of a throat cut. It was just like a
celebration.
Nah, it wasn't hardly anything.
Yeah, because I know on all the fan sites, that's like a big thing,
I know it, and it's nothing. It was really nothing.
Was he bleeding pretty good though? Got that because Ed told me he was.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he had a pretty good little cut on him, but I mean, and again, I'm not sure if it was a knife or a bottle or a beer top or something. I don't know. It just, but it happened quick, and I saw Leon with some kind of a rag or a cloth or a towel or something, just kind of put it up there to his throat.
Yeah,
blood had come through the damn thing. So.
Yeah,
kind of like
it wasn't like he was in shock or anything.
Kind of like the Andy of Mayberry episode where
Barney
hurt his
Barney shot himself.
Oh man, remember that, Mikey, when we were on the radio over in WSOC in Charlotte.
One of the best mornings of my life was that.
The whole morning on there having the Andy Griffith contest with the DJs and listeners.
Yeah, what it was we were on. It was SOC, wasn't it?
Yeah.
WSOC. That was like the biggest country station in Charlotte. We went on there to do some giveaways for some of Driving Sideways merch, and people would cut the contest was you have to stump the band on an Andy Griffith trivia question.
Right.
And they couldn't freaking.
No, they couldn't stump us.
They'd get mad. They were getting mad saying, one of them said, "You got a book there or something?" Like we could have looked up the answer in 3 seconds, you know.
Wasn't no such thing as Google back then.
Yeah, and there wasn't, and it was, and so we did between me and Bird and even Janess, he knew it pretty good too, and
Rock was
and
there
Rock
too,
has the we all knew the show, like you know, and they'd ask all these obscure questions, and I'd say the one time I was even taunting them, I said, "Why don't y'all ask me what the license plate of the crew on the sheriff car number was?" I said there was 2 different ones, and I do remember one of them. And then I think that's when the calls quit calling in. We didn't end up not giving hardly anything away.
Well, hey, Paul, we were talking earlier about, did you have a good Ronnie Van Zant story? And you mentioned the one in Tampa.
Okay. Okay, here we go. All right. Now, again, this is how I remember it. Ed King pretty much verified it to me later on when he sent me a chapter of his book for me to read, and it mentions this particular incident. But we were at Tampa, and Skynyrd had, I'm thinking Skynyrd either opened for Chicago, or I don't remember, Craig, for sure.
Yeah, we did. We opened for Chicago. Yeah,
exactly. And so after the show, we're all running around, and I was telling y'all Bob Burns was wanting to drive my car. So here I am with that crazy nut driving my car, and I had no idea how terrible he was behind the wheel, but he was.
What car was it?
I think I had a damn Volkswagen or something, man. I mean, I really think it was a Volkswagen Bug, but we got back to the hotel later on after the show. It was I think they did their set in the afternoon, so we had all evening. So Ronnie decides he wants to go to a bar. And we had somebody down there that had picked us out this bar to go to. Well, it turned out it was a damn gay bar. So we go to this gay bar.
That's a dirty trick, man.
Oh, buddy. Well, Ronnie picked up on this thing and took it back to the hotel. And I mean, real tall, looked like a woman to me. I don't know, you know. But somehow or another, he found out it wasn't a woman, and I hear all this ruckus, man. I mean, just screaming and hollering, and the next thing I knew, I see Ronnie come out of his hotel room carrying this thing and threw it or whatever you want to call it. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. Threw it over the damn rail into the parking lot, and got up and ran like crazy. I mean, so it didn't kill the girl. I don't know what his pronouns were.
yeah. It's like these 4 guys are not going. I don't even know what any of these pronouns mean. Much less. Oh my God,
that's so ridiculous! I'm telling you. But anyway,
look at Craig with Ronnie's head.
Oh, geez. Well, that happened. That happened, and again, Ed confirmed it in his book, and I don't know if it's ever going to be released or not. I mean, last time I talked to Sharon, they said that it was in the works, but God only knows.
Yeah.
Well, like I said before, a lot of those pictures you see of Ronnie with his hands all taped up.
Yeah.
That's what that was from. He would miss that guy every once in a while.
Yeah.
There was that one poster, that Skynyrd poster that me and my buddies all had when we were, 13, 14, that Ronnie's got sunglasses on stage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that picture became a poster. Gary's like in the forefront of it, and then Ronnie's leaned back with a mic stand. He's got sunglasses on, and that was covering up black eyes, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was from San Francisco.
Yeah,
that's when he got his ass beat in San Francisco by that.
He started that too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't there for that, right, Craig? You and
Oh yeah, yeah.
He
I
was
was I was there in San Francisco, but me and Dean were
Yeah,
out
you're-
doing something else, and they went off to a bar, and yeah.
It's always good. It's always a good decision. You ever notice how many stories wind up? Well, we went to a bar and
Yeah, yeah. Hey, y'all keep talking. I'm old. I got to go to the bathroom again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have
Y'all
those.
will find out one of these days.
Hey, Paulie, I have those same shorts on.
Yeah, probably so. Well, I've had them on for about a week.
So let's take a let's take a question, Griff.
Okay, well, let me see here. Some of them are for Paul. And here's a question. I'd like to know if Ronnie and Merle Haggard were actually going to record together. What
Yeah,
plan?
I had heard that they were. I mean, I wasn't involved in actual communication between them, but yeah, it's what I heard that they were.
Artie
We don't,
told me they were. Artie told me that they were gonna. That they had stopped out, I guess, in Lake Shasta or something, where Merle lived when Skynyrd was on the road on the bus or something, and he said that that Merle had a whole like toy train track around his property, the ones you could ride in like if you were a kid, and then him and Ronnie were riding around on the train and doing other things as well.
Yeah, well, Merle did that song "I'm a Honky Tonk Nighttime Man," and Merle talks about mentions Ronnie. And here's one Skynyrd did for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's a question for you, Mike, from John Eastwood. Hey, Mike, I saw on Ed King's post one day you and him got together and it looked like a studio setting in there. Anything of collaboration between you two that you're hiding from us? Ha ha.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's got to be at least 20 or 30 songs that we've recorded together that they haven't gotten out. I think I'm going to do. The problem is he and Ed was a pretty organized cat, and he called me up one day and he said, man, do you have the masters for the stuff that we had? Now, he had all the mixes, but he wanted the masters. He wanted to go back and cut. Well, we were cutting on this thing called ADAT at the time. I used to drag around this thing on the road even. And, but we were cutting just demos, songwriter demos. And there's probably, oh, look at that face. Oh, bless it. And, but there's a bunch of songs that and I don't have the mixes and I don't have the masters. But he called me looking for the masters, and because he couldn't remember what he'd done with them. But I know I didn't get them because I would have found them when I moved out. And because I moved studios a couple of times and I did not have them. And so I don't know if he put them up somewhere and couldn't remember where, because he would call me on occasion looking for something. I might have it. Like he called me looking for this guitar case and I had it, Yeah. But there was a time there where our stuff was at each other's houses a lot. And mostly we did the recordings at his house because he had bought the whole Elisa studio thing and got into that when it was popular in the mid 90s. And I still have my Elisa's machine, and believe it or not, I'm gonna actually get to use it in a modern system I'm putting together for the inputs. But yeah, it's I'm putting together a new studio, Paulie. I got a new board and stuff.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, it's about as tall as me. It's cool. At least I'll look cool doing it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
but yes, to answer his question, yes, there is a bunch of stuff. I don't know what it would be like to try to release any. I can't release that stuff, I'm sure, and I'm not sure I would. But there's some songs that I'd like for my band to do that me and Ed wrote that.
Man, there's one that I love.
Which one?
Sleeping with the Dogs.
Oh man, that's my favorite one.
God, man, that is the best song. It really is.
Sleeping with the Dogs. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yes,
it had,
sir. Yep.
and I remember that one the most. I can still remember most of the lyrics to that one because I actually looked for the tape to see if I had it, and we used to mark that tape. Me and Ed did. If we did a version of it, it just called W/Dogs. It was like with dogs.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for it. That's
Great
a good
song.
one. That's
So
the one I wanted to do. Is
Yeah.
that one? Yeah.
So one day you think there'll be some of those out there for some people to hear?
I hope I can do. Which I don't know all the technical things about doing this. It's like I thought if I wrote or put them out with my band doing it, it would probably be okay, I guess. But he owned half the cut. We did everything 50-50 after we had a deal up at one point, but then we made a agreement that it was a gentleman's agreement that we would just split after the deal that I had with him was over. Then we just split everything down the middle, no matter who did the most work or whatever, didn't matter.
So yours was Mad Muffin, right?
Mine was Mad Muffin, yeah.
And his was I Can't Read Music.
I can't read music, yeah, but that was a total lie.
Oh God.
He can totally read. That's what was so funny, because I asked him one time, so you can really read, because he was teaching me all this musical technical stuff that I had no idea, and he was okay, well, you got it if you sing the third and then you sing the fifth, right. And then he would teach me these intervals off a major scale, and I learned how to do them. And it dawned on me that he couldn't be knowing this stuff with all the knowledge he had about music technically. I mean, he was a total field player, but he never let his knowledge of music stand in the way of feel. It was
oh no.
I mean, you think he was born with a he could be totally country and totally fire rock, man. And whatever he played still sounded like him. It didn't matter.
Hey, Mike, after his heart transplant, did you notice his capabilities going down any, or did he still have it?
Yeah, he still had it, because he came over here and played with Skinny Molly one time just for the heck of it. And he was thinking about getting back out and playing some. So he said, I need to see if I can play with a band. He goes, you mind if I come over and play with your band? Get over here, man.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, and those dudes were like completely nervous. Oh God, it's Ed King's coming over to play with us. And he brought his dogs and brought us all a cigar, and we played all kinds of stuff, man. It was we played for probably 3 hours, just whatever, and he hung like a big dog. So,
how long did it take him to get over that whole thing?
It took forever.
About a year, wasn't it?
At least. Yeah.
So he started, I guess, feeling uncomfortable, and his heart was failing, and then he just decided to go ahead and get it replaced.
He had turned it down once, I think, and because he wasn't sure about it. But he had turned down a heart at some point, and if you do that, you go to the kind of the bottom of the list, back of the line, and it came up again, and he told me that he was going to do it, and he said, "How can I not do it this time?" I swear I've never forgotten this. He said, "How can I not do it? It's going to be a hell of a trip."
Yeah, no doubt. Last time I saw Ed was he came down here. He came to Clarksdale, Mississippi.
He did?
Yeah, and he played with a couple of the guys that he played with. I think, I'm not sure if they were in Strawberry Alarm Clock or some other guys he played with in California. But he played at a club down here called Ground Zero. It's owned by Morgan Freeman.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. It's an incredible nightclub, man. I wish y'all could come down here and play sometime.
Well, I'd love to.
Boy, it's a rocking bar, and I mean they pack
Our
it out.
bass player's aunt was Morgan. Our bass player's aunt, who's an author, was Morgan Freeman's girlfriend.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I knew he liked them white chicks. Oh God!
So he lives there. What is he live in Mississippi or?
He's got a big farm here, but I mean I'm sure he's got a home in California too. But he still comes back here quite often. I mean he'll show up down there just out of the blue, you know. But yeah, he's around. Hell, this little town I live in, y'all, has a freaking Grammy museum.
Really?
Yeah, the sure enough Grammys. There's a you've heard of Norbert Putnam, right?
Of course.
Well,
I met Norbert.
Yeah, Norbert put together this program down at Delta State, which is literally 5 blocks from my house right here.
Really? I heard about him doing this.
And it's called Delta Music Institute.
Yeah.
So I got a first cousin that the first guy I was ever in a band with is my first cousin. He's one of the professors down there.
Oh, hell.
And he was going on vacation or going somewhere and asked me if I would come and teach his class for him. And I'm like, what the hell would I'm going to teach him? He said, oh, you know, talk about touring and advancing the tour and this and that. And, you know, if you want to tell some road stories, you can do that. And then you can answer some questions. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So I went down there and I talked for a solid hour, man. And then these kids started asking me questions. And I got back home and Gloria's son-in-law, we went over to his house and he said, well, did they ask you anything you couldn't answer? And I said, they asked me some things I shouldn't have answered. But it was a lot of fun. And I've done that twice. And then on the 21st of this month, they're going to show one of those movies, one of those Skynyrd documentaries.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one. But they're going to show that. And then I'm going to be there and they're going to ask a bunch of questions and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, literally, a Grammy museum right down the street. And it stands to reason because being in the Mississippi Delta is kind of where it all started, you know.
That's true.
Really and truly.
That really is true.
But if I could get out of here, I'd be a long gone son of a bitch.
Really?
I am ready to leave this place. Woo.
Why?
Too hot.
It is hot, ain't it? It's hot up here.
Where would you go? Where would you go, Paul?
Back up in the mountains somewhere. It don't matter where, anywhere other than below sea level.
Oh, it was Dave Musgrove was asking to tell a story about grizzlies up in Wyoming.
Oh.
Paul, where I find the grizzlies next time I go out to Wyoming.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I told him that already. It's they're out there. They're out there.
Was something specific happen with a grizzly?
Yeah, with me, I was hiking around a lake. I was at Gary's house visiting, and I went out by myself one day, and I just was going to go hiking around this lake to these waterfalls. And I got out on the trail, and I look out ahead of me, and there's a group of people back on the trail, and they're all turned around, looking toward me. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm looking around, and I hear something crack right up the slope going up the hill. And I look up there and I see the biggest bare ass I have ever seen in my life going up the hill and was paying me no attention whatsoever. Thank God.
Oh,
but 15 seconds earlier, I probably would have crossed paths with him. Yeah.
Gary wasn't with you, huh?
Who?
Gary wasn't with you, huh?
Oh, hell no.
Well, because Craig's got a story about when he was at a castle out in England and there were some lions and Craig said, well, as long as I can outrun Gary, I'll have it made. Those lions.
He ain't got to reach faster than the lions.
I'm not worried about those lions. I can outrun you. Hey, but Paul, you told my buddy Jeff Gieska where to eat the other day. He was out there.
I sure did, buddy. Yeah, when I was with
my buddy Jeff Gieska and his wife were out there, and I actually took some of the pictures he sent and made a screenshot out of one of those mountain pictures. It was really.
Oh man, yeah. He's out there. He was. I think they're flying back today, but
oh yeah,
there's a place out there.
How long you been talking to him? Actually, Jeff was at that party that you played at, Mike, up at that guy's house.
Oh yeah.
Good guy, man. Good guy.
Yeah.
But I've just known him on here. You know, I've never met him in face to face. But anytime anybody's going to Jackson Hole, I want to tell them about going to this one particular place. It's called the Gun Barrel, and they serve wild game. And I took one time I was with Cyrus and we were leaving Branson, and they were wanting me to bring the band and crew back to Nashville. And then we were going to have to leave maybe 36 hours later to drive to Idaho.
That don't
and
make
I looked at the map and I said, man, maybe we can go up to Jackson Hole. So I told Billy Ray what I wanted to do. And he said, man, go ahead and enjoy yourself. He said, be sure and buy the band a dinner while you're out there on my American Express. I said, shit, you shouldn't have said that. Well, I took them to the Gun Barrel, and man, they had like bison steaks and prime rib and elk and antelope and anything you can imagine, man. I spent $1,000 easy on, at least that. But he told me to.
This gal cuts my hair told me she was headed out there, and she said, have you ever been there? I said, yeah. And I said, go walk into the Cowboy Bar and ask if anybody's got any Lynyrd Skynyrd stories and see what happened.
Oh buddy. So were you with us when we had to do that gig out there?
No, it was
Gary got caught speeding on the damn elk refuge.
Yeah,
going about 80 miles an hour on the elk refuge.
Yeah,
that was it wasn't pretty.
Yeah,
Johnny and I were going down that slide that
the Alpine slide.
Yeah. It was after Johnny had that little bit of back surgery or whatever. Some of them places you can catch air going on.
Oh yeah.
We Johnny were racing down there. Yeah, I couldn't leave him, man. He stayed right there with
You didn't see that big sign up at the top. You didn't see that big sign that said no racing.
Me and Johnny came up at the same time, and I goes, oh, I can beat him. He's got that bad back, and I was kind of right there. It was funny.
Yeah, man. The most fun I had out there is when we were out there, and me and Johnny and Gary went snowmobiling. It was in the wintertime. God, it was so much fun.
That was when Big Blue thought he was going to die, wasn't it? Didn't you guys Billy got stuck or something?
No, that was when we were
later. Yeah. Then the band came out. The whole band went out later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was literally right across the street from where that place that his buddy Brian that had that Cowboy Lodge.
The Teton Lodge.
Yeah. So we stayed there, and then we all went out to go snowmobiling. Well, we're over there all standing by our snowmobiles, going to take a picture with the Tetons in the background, and we're waiting on Billy to come across the street. Well, Billy comes across the street and lets it go. Gone, boy. Down and around the corner. And the guides, we had two guides with us. They said, stay right where you are. And we all waiting on them to come back. Billy ran around the corner, got maybe a quarter of a mile, and ran right off into a creek bed.
And they got it all. They got a picture of him standing there too.
Covered in snow, man.
Yeah.
Covered in snow. That was crazy. But that ended his day. He was my roommate on that trip.
Does Gary still have a place out in Wyoming, or is he not there anymore?
Don't one of his daughters live out there?
Yeah, Annie does.
Yeah,
and I think that they still have a house out there. If I'm not mistaken. Now they sold the big log house,
Yeah.
And then I helped them move from that house to another house that was over there by where the Alpine slide is. So it was, I went up there quite a few times. That's when he asked me to come on and do the tribute tour with him. You know, he's like, he was telling me about they were going back and forth and they wanted to do it, and he didn't know whether he wanted to do it or not because he wanted it to be done right. You know.
Well, that was when he had the Rossington Band. He was
right,
kinda,
exactly.
yeah.
And he just said, out of the blue one day, I was up there at his house, and he said, Paul, I think we're going to do this tour. He said, I tell you what, I'll do it if you come and go with us. And I'm like, Gary, I've never done anything like that before. And he said, we're only going to do 32 shows. And I said, okay. So we did, and then the rest was history. I got 10 years in before they.
That was a long 32 shows, wasn't it?
It sure was. God.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny when I come out there, and I didn't know you were with Gary, you know, and it was funny seeing you out there on the road, you know.
Oh yeah, when we were in San Francisco.
Yeah, and I said, well, here's another one I brought into the business.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, I'll let you lay claim to that all day long. Because I will tell you, I've never had a better time.
Both of you, neither one of you'd be here without me. You know?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They ain't gonna lie about that.
That's fact.
Ed King got both of you guys going.
All three of us, actually.
Yeah.
All three of us.
Well, after I left,
Ed King got you the gig with Billy Ray.
Exactly. He sure did. He called me up and said,
Yeah.
he said, you need to go talk to Billy Ray Cyrus, and I did. And hey, I stayed with him a long time, man.
How long was you with him?
I was with him altogether 12 years, but it was like there was a little time in the middle when he was just shooting movies. And crap like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, later on, they put me on a retainer, so hey, I stayed, and I'd go out there and go to his farm every day.
Hey, Paul, did you ever bounce his daughter on your knee?
Well,
I did.
Yeah. When she was about 5 years old was the first time
She
I
was
met
the cutest little thing on the planet, wasn't she?
her. And could
She's
sing.
pretty good singer.
Yeah.
She could sing her ass off.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Paul, what was that thing where we went over to Billy Ray's studio that one time, and
they came to our studio.
Yeah.
We were at Emerald.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Billy Ray came over with
I was playing pool with him.
Yeah, he came over with little Steven Van Zandt.
That's right. Who
He
did
had-
a
he
great
had-
job in The Sopranos, by the way.
Oh yeah. He came over on a motorcycle with little Steven Van Zandt riding on the back of it. And all of the Billy's band, they were called Sly Dog. Buddy, I mean, I love y'all to death. I really do. But these guys, man, we had a freaking ball, and I got so close to them. You know, we went to all the national parks, you know, that we could possibly get to. And whenever there was something, you know, something close by, Billy Ray always gave us permission, man, just go do what y'all want to do. Because all he did was fly in on a jet and fly out right after the show every damn time.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. We had 13 damn people on the bus, but it was okay.
As long as everybody was okay, you know, yeah.
We had very, very little dissension on that bus. Everybody stayed pretty buzzed.
13's pushing it on a bus. Somebody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a jump bump, man.
Didn't
When
have
you ain't got a jump bump, that kind of makes it bad.
Oh
yeah. That's the first place I went to was the junk buck. Throw all my junk in the
Oh,
thing.
hell
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Craig, got a question for you from Brian Gibbons, and he was curious if Craig has any cool stories about the Day on the Green concert.
Oh yeah, I saw that question earlier.
Yeah, that's a big topic for these guys. They want to know. I guess.
God, you know what? That was with Peter Frampton, maybe. I think Day on the Green. Who was all on that?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, all those.
That's where
that
you
was-
were sitting without the shirt there on the amps, and
Yeah, but I never wore a shirt. So
That's that Bill Graham hit Billy right between the
I
eyes.
remember, I don't remember Day in the Green. I remember those Bill Graham shows. Those were always really spectacular shows.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
they
doubt.
always had the backstage and everything all decked out and stuff. And I kind of remember backstage and stuff, but I was probably large toward where my head was at. I was doing up, down, or sideways. I'm the stoned roadie. I don't remember everything.
You ain't supposed to, man.
I had fun. I was having fun no matter what I was doing or I was trying to.
you told me the story about when you and Gary went to his funeral, Bill Graham's funeral.
Oh God, yeah. I don't want to tell that. I was not feeling well at all. I had some stuff to keep it up, and I was and we got on the plane, and it was one of those things where they weren't serving alcohol, and we needed something to bring, so I conned the stewardess into giving us bottles of vodka, but she couldn't give us chasers, so I got pretty, and it was late when we got in there, and we had to get up early in the morning, and Clayton Johnson actually picked us up, and yeah, I wasn't feeling well. I was sitting there in all these VIP section with Gary and all these stars and stuff, and I wasn't feeling well.
Craig, there's been a lot of times that I've been with you where the next day I wasn't feeling well.
Greg told me one time, he said he went out with somebody, I don't know who the drummer was, but they both got sick as hell. The next day they had a hangover, and the guy was out there drumming, and he would throw up in a bucket, and Craig said, I'm glad I don't have to play out on the stage.
Well, that was David Allen with Marshall Tucker, man. Oh God, yeah, we were up partying all night long, man. And I was feeling like hammered dog poop, and he was up there. And he's got the lights on him and stuff. And he would turn around and just throw up in a bucket, and I'm putting cold towels on him, and I'm glad I'm not a musician, man. I'm glad I'm not a musician.
Man.
There's been a lot of musicians. Frankie with Tesla, man.
Oh God, that was
stayed up all night. Oh, I know he was out there playing. I was thinking, dude, I know you gotta feel worse than me.
Yeah, and I had to go on later than him, and it was.
Yeah, that's a good thing, Mike. What do you guys do when you get all tore up the night before and you have to go out on stage? And how the heck do you guys?
Man, I always drank a lot of water on those days, and it was just. But the thing what Craig was talking about, me and Frankie and Craig and Gary would do these, so that we would have these slap box championships, where you hold your hands like this, and the other guy has to come from his hip and swack your hands like that. And man, Frankie had never done this, and man, it was a hard couple of days on him learning how to do that. Remember?
Gary was good at it.
Yes, so was I. Yeah, Gary was good at it. But I talked to Frankie the other day, and I asked him if he remembered it. And he said, "Oh God, how do you forget something like that?"
Hey, Craig, we're coming up on an hour right now on this podcast.
Oh wow, yeah. That went back quick.
Hey, Paul, why don't you show us what your book looks like there, and maybe tell a little bit something about how somebody can get a copy of that thing.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can
Yes,
see
you
it.
can.
Yeah, I can see it.
That's
cool.
You know what? It's not so much about Skynyrd or Billy Ray, or You know, it's about us, about me, about what I've done. I mean, growing up in the Mississippi Delta, some of the crazy ass shit we used to do, you know, and I mean, there's some pretty funny stuff in here. And then some not so funny stuff too, like when had to go away to summer camp for about three and a half freaking years.
Yeah, that was a long summer too.
It sure as hell was, longest one I've ever spent. But you know, it's just got and it's got road stories about things that we did or things that we shouldn't have done. There's a story in there about Lemmy.
Oh,
Lemmy we were in Berlin or somewhere like that, and I was looking for Leon and couldn't find him, and I found him downstairs in the bar with Lemmy, and I didn't have a clue who Lemmy was, but he kind of was. And then we went on from there to
Paris guitar roadie.
yeah, he was
really.
he was iconic. He turned out.
Oh
to be,
yeah,
yeah,
no
man.
doubt about it, man. I mean, I found out since I've
He
never.
was a roadie. He was Jimi Hendrix guitar roadie. Yeah.
I have never listened to Motorhead in my life,
I saw
and I still haven't.
him. I saw the original band. Yeah,
I'm an oldies and goodies kind of guy myself. Yeah,
And the
Lemmy's
other
a
thing,
legend.
too,
Lemmy's a
is,
legend.
is people might not be able to see it too well, but that T-shirt you're wearing, that's Ed King right there.
yeah, not for sale. I've got to make that.
Don't ask about getting one of those shirts because you
Don't
can't.
ask about getting one. It's you're just wasting ink.
Now, if you want one with books, that's cool. You can get.
Yeah, you can go on Amazon and get it. I mean, I used to keep a lot of them here, but it got to the point where they slowed down moving a lot, and I just hadn't re-upped my order. But you can get them from Amazon, and then if you decided that you wanted me to sign it, God knows why, you ain't gonna get nothing for it more than that. But I'd be glad to do it. Just have to, you know, send it to me, and then I'd send it back or whatever. But you know, it's pretty good. I've got some pretty good reviews of it.
People have asked me like what I did before I got with Lynyrd Skynyrd because I'm a Yankee, you know, and I'm up here from Ohio. And I said, how the hell did you get with Lynyrd Skynyrd, you know? But you didn't want to talk about this much, but you know, you just came out and with some difficulty with your health, and you know, us old roadies and stuff, we live a good lifestyle when we're out there on the road, and we get paid pretty well. But then, well, after we leave the road, that's it, you know.
That's
and
it, buddy. Yeah.
Don't really plan on getting sick or anything. Luckily, I haven't had that happen, you know. But when you do, it kind of, like Paul started dealing with a little bit of illness back in like 2015, and he's been dealing with that, and it's kind of depleted him a little bit financially, so they've started a little GoFundMe fund for him on Facebook. So appreciate it if you go out there. You know, hey, $5, $10, $20, you know, we're in a recession, but whatever you can do, you know, get a lot of people, we can get a lot of money up for, or, you know, enough for him to.
Where's the link to that?
To help out, you know, and you know, we'd appreciate it. And Paul, you know, Paul feels bad about doing this, you know.
It just makes me feel.
Yeah, Mike, it's on Craig's Facebook page. If you
on Craig's Facebook page, okay. Good.
It makes me feel weird to even think about it, you know. But
man, I chose more for more people, man. I
chose my life, and I chose what I do.
Yeah,
I've seen the world. I've been in all 50 states, all over Canada. You know, it's paid for itself as far as that goes. But you know, no band I've ever worked for had a pension, and everybody I've worked for is now worth in multi-millions of dollars. Everybody, including the Cyrus family, and God only knows how much they're worth. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, I know what I've got to do. I've just been dealing with this cancer thing since 2015, and found out last week that I might have to deal with it again. and I had a biopsy yesterday, and I wish I'd have just let them go ahead and cut me open and take it out for as much pain as I've been in. But this is gonna pass just like everything else. I'm gonna be all right. I'm strong, and me and my dog Buddy, we go out and walk a couple times every day. And
You got one named Buddy too?
hell yeah.
Yeah, remember when
he is oh yeah.
I had one.
Well, my favorite dog of yours was Genius.
Mine was Jackson.
Yeah,
I like
Frank Jackson. Man, both those dogs are legendary. I had it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I had it one time. Remember when I had 7 dogs? Man, it looked like going to the Beverly Hillbillies house.
It held me and Sandy had 8.
You had, yeah, y'all had that. That's right.
Well, she had some wolves.
Wolves. Yeah.
Yeah, we had wolf hybrids too.
Woo.
I tell
That
you what,
was
the weird thing is, when you lose your dog, it's almost like more traumatic than losing your friends.
Oh, it is. It is,
my
man.
God, when I lost my first Leon, it killed me.
Yeah.
I figured out my dogs two of them cost me $300 a month for 2 dogs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
And dog food has gone up.
Oh,
Good Lord.
Mine's
it's
$125
crazy.
for 17 pounds. It's special gastrointestinal stuff.
I got that Doberman. He weighs over 100 pounds now, Paula. You seen him, I think, when you came over. And his name's Speed Bump.
Did you say that because he lays out in the driveway?
Because he'd go out and lay in the dang road, and it'd take a whole lane up. It looked like a speed bump laying there. Yeah.
Well, thank God nobody uses that road.
No kidding. Yeah, it'd probably tear their car to nothing.
You guys want to do this again next week? Oh, Mike, you can't. You'll be in Europe.
Maybe I could be your European correspondent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can do it. Yeah, we can do Zoom from Europe, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. If I got whatever y'all want.
I'll you up for another one.
Sure. Yeah. This is fun.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Both of us.
Sure, man. I mean,
yeah, we haven't really got into any, any real the meat of any real situations that we were involved in.
Well, you got a hell of a thing here, Craig. This is fun.
Yeah, man.
It really is.
Yeah, we're happy. I'm happy for you.
You know
man.
what? People want me to write a book, and I just don't want to write a book, man. And then this guy wanted me to do a podcast thing. I goes, yeah, I'll do that. And then I got this mic and everything, and then I said, well, I got all this stuff, and nobody will do it. And everybody said, well, do one yourself. I goes, I couldn't do one myself, so Griff volunteered to do it, and he's been doing great.
You got your damn rocket science.
Every time there's a lull and something, I just look at Griff, and he just pops right up with something to do. It's
thank
really
God.
Cool. It's like he's a good Ed McMahon. He's my good Ed McMahon.
But for me, what people don't realize is like you guys, are really royalty here, and I get to listen to all this great stories. And I get to talk to Craig on the phone, and Craig, he'll have to tell me
for free. Yeah, I talk to him for free.
Hey, I do get him to send me some stuff every now and then, but I think
Griff has sent me all kind of really cool stuff, man. I wanted a lab coat from NASA, and he said,
"What?
Oh wow!
Yeah, a lab coat from NASA.
Yeah,
he got a pilot's outfit." And
I told you,
I'd love to have a NASA lab coat. That'd be great.
All right, Craig, we better wrap it up. We're gonna be here all
day.
All
right, yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about maybe doing another one, next week or so. So
that was fun.
All right, well yeah.
Great seeing you, Paulie.
You too, Mikey. Have fun.
Yeah, this was number 25. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready to go. Number 25.
All right, this was number 25.
My favorite part.
You know what? They said, if you ever want to start a podcast, it takes at least 25 before you can become comfortable at it. You know, this is number 25 for us, you know.
Wow.
It really is. You know, when we started, we didn't know what we were going to do, what to do, you know, so we just did them. And we haven't done any editing or anything. We just go, let's just
Not
roll
one time.
Yeah, Paulie, they told me, said, well, we're going to edit it and then I'll send you a copy of it. The copy arrived in my email like 3 seconds later.
Oh, yeah. That's a hell of an edit right there, buddy.
Yeah, we don't like to work too hard.
Man, those guys are quick.
No shit. Should have had you helping me write this damn book.
I might have got in trouble.
Yeah. Well,
All right, that's it. Let's
Nice
call
seeing
that
you,
a wrap.
man.
This is number 25 of the Stone Roadie Show, and that was take one and roll one and burn one down. That's all.
adios.
Adios.
See y'all.
See you next time.
All right, buddy.